Alabama cooking. We are frying up some thin cut pork chops. Come on in the kitchen, y'all. Let's cook. All right, guys, so frying pork chops, pretty straightforward. You need pork chops. Okay. You also need an little egg wash, and some flour and your seasoning. Now this seasoning that I'm using today is really just one of my own little house blends I made, and you can create this too. This has onion powder, garlic powder, salt, a little bit of chili powder, and some black pepper. And it's all mixed together, and that's it, you know? And I'm gonna tell you a little secret. If you wanna know if your seasoning is right, taste it. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but when you put it together, just get a little bit like this, okay? A little bit in your hand, on your spoon. Put it in your hand like that. And taste it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Literally, it's that simple. Let me wash this off. So, that's how easy it is to put together your own little house seasoning, and that's what we're gonna use today on our pork chops. If you wanna make it hot and spicy, just add your little cayenne to it. Then you can do anything you want to with it. I'm trying to show y'all how to cook. Now we got some peanut oil in here that's heating up, okay? So I'm gonna let that be nice and hot because these pork chops are thin. Now, when I fry pork chops, you like to fry either the thin ones or the ones with the bone in them. The bone-in ones are my favorite to fry, but they didn't have those at the store today, y'all, so I had to get what they had. I won't happy about it, but that's okay. So I'm gonna start with just putting some of the seasoning directly on these chops, like so. Ooh, that oil's getting hot, I smell it. I smell it heating up. Let me turn it down for a minute, because something's gonna happen in this kitchen like this. You ever get that feeling where I need to turn it down and something finna happen? I got that something finna happen feeling. Let's just move that over for a second. Okay. I'm gonna put my glove on so I can touch this meat and move around with it and be flexible. Ooh, I love fried pork chops. My mama used to make the best fried pork chops in the world. She still does, you know, when she comes over and she helps with the kids, or if I'm traveling or something, she always makes fried pork chops. That's her go-to. So I hope I do these justice, because my mama can do that. Fried pork chop. If y'all know her, next time you see her, say, Miss Virginia, I hear you can fry a pork chop. She's gonna be like, who told you that, Lori? Yes. Oh goodness, all right, we're seasoning these generously, both sides. And this is not a spicy, hot seasoning, okay? This seasoning I made, this is just nice and flavorful. Onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, and then I added a little bit of salt and a little black pepper in there. And the reason I did the powders instead of just doing like a garlic salt and onion salt is we really don't want it to get over salted. You know what I'm saying? Which can happen. So it's actually best if you use powders. Garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, and then add the salt to bring those flavors out together, and you won't oversalt your food. That's just a little tip from me to you, because I love you. I love you like that. Now I'm gonna season my flour. I've got about a cup and a half of flour here. Now generally I use about a tablespoon of seasoning to every cup of flour, or until the flour looks like I think it should look. But as a rule of thumb, start with what I just said. Okay, now there's my seasoning here into my flour. I'm gonna just give this a gentle little mix together. And these thin pork chops fry up really quick, y'all. Really quick, okay? So don't turn your head, because they'll be done. All right, let's check the oil. Oh yeah, she's ready. Okay, now, I have here a couple eggs with a few tablespoons of water in them. I'm gonna put the pork chop into the egg wash, then into the flour. Coat it nicely, like so. See there? Shake off the excess and layer in. And that is all there is to it. Same thing, coat, dip. And I like to turn the dip a few times when I dip it in that flour, because I want to make sure I really get it covered nicely. Okay? And then shake off the excess if you have any, and drop them in. Again, seasoning it. Look at that. See how that oil is nice and hot when we got in there? That's what we wanted. And when I took it off the oil briefly, the heat briefly, I took it off the heat because it was getting real hot, and I could tell something wasn't gonna go like I expected. You know, sometimes you can just tell these things. You should, eventually in the kitchen, you can kind of tell when something's about to happen. Boom. Ooh, yes! And by having the seasoning on the pork chops and in the flour, you're going to have flavor on every layer of this pork chop. Now, do it with bone. If you do it with boneless, now I'm telling you this, if you fry boneless pork chops, fry the thin ones because they cook real quick and you can still get good juicy flavor. If you're going to fry them with the bone in, okay, I love those too, with bone in joints. Don't do the super thick ones, because if you do the super thick ones with the bone in, it's hard to get them done and they end up drying out on you, okay? I'm going to put these two in the flour until we're ready to put them over so I can take this glove off. Oops. I only did one side. My bad. I'm so busy talking. I'm going to get ready to check these chops and turn them. Put this one here real quickly. That's it. Okay. All right. Close enough. There we go. Let's get this glove off, out the way. Here we go. Look at that. You see that pretty pork chop? You see that? Did y'all get a glimpse of that pretty pork chop? Nice and golden brown. And you see how we got a nice little crust on it? That's from the egg and the flour. Let's get rid of our seasonings here. Put this over here. Now you can make gravy to go with these pork chops, or baby, you can just eat these fried pork chops like they are. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna straight eat these fried pork chops. Now don't overcook them. They're thin. They're gonna get done really quickly. And if you go too long, they'll dry out on you. All right, look. Isn't that pretty? Putting these onto a baking dish in a tray, this kind of, why I can't think of the name of this thing, y'all. I'm putting it on the thing here so the air can circulate so that they don't get soggy sitting on the paper towel directly, okay? See that? These cook so quickly. And they'll say thin cut. Don't get the ones that look thin to you. Okay, look thin. Get the ones that say thin cut because they're actually thin cut and they will honestly cook much, they'll cook more quickly. Okay? See that? See how pretty these pork chops are? That's a pretty pork chop. Oh yeah. You see how fast that was? They're thin. I'm telling you guys, it doesn't take long. I'm gonna put these last two in there real quick while that finishes. There we go. Jab her up like that. Shake off that excess, put her in. You can do the same thing, like I said, with the bone-in chops. It might take a little bit longer to cook because the bone, changes the temperature of the meat. But it's not going to take so much longer that you're going to be, like out a day or something like that. You know what I mean? Just a little bit more time. Look at these pretty pork chops. See how golden brown they are? You know they look good when pork chops. When pork chops are pretty, I think they taste better when they're pretty. Don't you think so? Look, y'all. See how that's just pretty. My daddy used to say stuff like that. He would say, that's just pretty. Now see right there, that's just pretty. That's a pretty pork chop. All right, I'm gonna finish these last couple up. We're gonna taste these bad boys and be on our way. All right, y'all, here we go. This is a pretty pork chop. These need names. These need to be named. There's 6 of them, and there's a lobster video I have where I used the Jackson 5, and I don't know what to call these 6, but these are pretty. We got to come up with a name for some pretty pork chops. Let me see here. Look, cut this. You see this? Look at that. Boom. You see that? See how quick that cooked up? Look at that. Can you see in there? It's still juicy. Party over here. That is juicy and flavorful. I don't know what to name these because these are just good. Crust. All right. This is your quick go-to dinner. 10 boneless pork chops. Now I'll do another video one day, you guys, and I'll fry some with bone in. That sounds good. But for today, this right here, boom. All right, I love y'all. Think of a name for these 6 pork chops, this family. Put it down below because we can't, this is too good to leave nameless. All right, love you so much. Have a great day. I'll catch you guys next time right back here in the Love Lab for more Calabama cooking with Chef Lorious. That's me. Happy cooking.